Every single day, we turn on the news or scroll on social media, and we are reminded that the crisis of this climate is not backing down and it's not letting up. But, church, we have got to come face to face with the fact that there is always some new trouble for us to grapple with. From the fact that the White House has become weaponized against its own people by bigots with badges, to the fact that AI is threatening jobs in an extremely tainted job market and economy. Church, the highest seat of power in this country is currently being held by an egotistical, unscrupulous, megalomaniacal felon. And on top of that, its strings are being pulled by one person and one of his 13 children. There is peril all around us. The school systems are failing our young people. Guns are running rampant in our streets. Conspiracy and corruption cannot escape the threads of our political system, not to mention the state of mental unrest and anxiety that has overwhelmed our people. And in the midst of all of this, Bishop Haynes, the black church is still suffering from so many issues that if I started to name them today, y'all would have to send me home. So instead, I'll let you insert your Holy Ghost imagination here. But people of God, what I want you to come to grips with is that we are living in perilous times. And here each and every one of us are in this room, called as glorious carriers of this great gospel, called to reconcile in irreconcilable conditions. Irreconcilable would suggest to us that the conditions are conflicting or opposing to our destiny and our direction. And the tragedy of this great picture is that the enemy is still so cunning that one of his most common and greatest tactics is to keep us so occupied by the insignificant that we overlook the attack that is on the way. And the reality today is that we are gathered in this place on a Friday morning to experience the power of God that causes transformational leadership to take us into new levels, to help us to pivot, to serve, to discover, to develop, and to be delivered. But if we could be honest this morning, some of us are in need of some new power. We are in need of some new power to embrace the pivot and the progress of God, because you do know that it is possible to be leading for so long that we overlook when we have become occupied by the insignificant. Oh, church, I'm talking about being occupied by the small stuff. I'm talking about being occupied by your own busyness and your own hype, being occupied by always needing to understand exactly how it's going to work out, being occupied trying to control the narrative of your story, being occupied trying to make destiny work according to your own direction. Sometimes we become so occupied trying to do things our way that we miss what's on the way. But what I need you to understand today is that if we don't become those who soon shift our focus onto the things of God that are more of a priority to him than they are to us, then we are going to miss the fact that there is an attack on the way. And church, that's where the enemy has most of us trapped, so busy trying to be busy that we are fighting more for relevance than we are relationship with Jesus Christ. But today I have simply come to sound the alarm that if we don't soon recognize that we are fighting an opposing and conflicting force, we are going to miss the fact that when warfare is in front of us, we don't have the luxury of being occupied by the small stuff. Because when we are in spiritual warfare, our first responsibility is to take our place. In other words, church, what I've come to simply help you to understand is that you cannot be so caught up by the insignificant in your life that you mess around and let the enemy catch you slipping. And church, I believe that one of the greatest tools that we can possess is the power of position. Do me a favor and help me preach my sermon right here. Tell your neighbor, you got the power of position. Oh, church, because what I have discovered is that when you take your position, you show the enemy that you are ready for whatever he is bringing. Understand that when it is that you take your place, you literally set your focus on things that are above rather than things that are beneath. When you take your place, you literally put the enemy on notice. You are letting the enemy know that you are going to apply as much pressure to him as he has been applying to you.